In a shattered galaxy where hope flickers amid cosmic ruins, one legendary warship stirs from the ashes. Captain Alara Miles, scarred by loss and fueled by vengeance, embarks on a perilous quest to reclaim the Odyssey. As tyrannical forces close in, her defiant courage ignites a rebellion that may unite humanity before darkness devours the last spark of hope. In the vast, inky darkness of space, where distant stars whispered ancient secrets and black voids concealed untold tragedies, a legend began to stir. Long before the shattered remnants of civilization floated like lost memories among the cosmic debris, there had been a fleet, a mighty armada that ruled the stars with brilliance and force. But time, ever the relentless sculptor of fate, had erased nearly all traces of that grandeur in the apocalyptic conflagration that tore through the galaxy. Amid the ruins of burnt-out satellites and drifting space stations, one tale endured. A story passed in hushed tones and fervent glances between survivors clinging to the vestiges of hope. They spoke of a solitary warship, a colossal relic from an age of glory, known only as the Odyssey. Its silhouette, seen once in the shimmering veil of a dying nebula, had ignited a spark in the hearts of those battered by loss and despair. It was said that the ship had survived the ultimate destruction, its mighty hull absorbing the fury of cosmic devastation, emerging from the chaos unscathed, as if the gods themselves had decreed it a beacon for the hopeless. The night sky above the scattered enclaves of humanity was a canvas of memories, each star a testament to battles fought, lives lost, and dreams deferred. On one such night, aboard a creaking space station orbiting a forgotten world, the ancient legend of the Odyssey was reborn. Faded holologs and battered digital archives flickered with images of the warship's past splendor, sleek lines that curved like the arc of a comet, turrets that once gleamed with the promise of salvation, and engines that roared like the heartbeats of titans. As whispers of the warship's impending return grew louder, the air on the station crackled with anticipation. Elder survivors, whose eyes held the glint of distant galaxies and the scars of ancient wars, gathered in dimly lit corridors. They recounted tales of the Odyssey with a reverence that transcended mere memory, a belief that its revival could herald a new dawn, an end to the relentless darkness. Outside, the infinite expanse of space held its breath. Dusty asteroids and remnants of shattered worlds bore silent witness to the cyclical nature of hope and ruin. And somewhere, amidst the cosmic silence, the warship, its destiny entwined with the fate of a broken galaxy, waited to rise again, a living myth poised to defy oblivion. The legend of the Odyssey had been reborn, kindling a light in the darkness, a promise that even in the depths of despair, a single spark of hope could ignite a revolution among the stars. The year was 2784, and the cosmos bore scars of a forgotten apocalypse. Amid the scattered debris of once mighty empires, silent outposts and abandoned satellites drifted like the remnants of shattered dreams. Captain Alara Miles navigated her aging shuttle through this expanse of ruin, where every glint of starlight told a tale of glory lost to time and warfare. Here, in the silent echoes of crumbling space stations and ghostly planets, humanity eked out a fragile existence. Alara's shuttle, a patchwork of salvaged technology and hard-won ingenuity, was more than a vessel. It was a lifeline to a future that refused to be defined solely by tragedy. As she piloted her craft through fields of derelict satellites and the skeletal remains of ancient battleships, the vast emptiness around her seemed to murmur secrets of an age when the skies pulsed with the energy of hope and ambition. Now, those celestial fires were but dim embers, waiting for the spark of revival. Inside the cramped, dimly lit cockpit, Alara's eyes were fixed on a swirling vista of cosmic debris, each fragment a stark reminder of what had been lost. The silent hum of the shuttle's engine merged with the distant, almost ghostly echoes of battle, remnants of an era when the universe trembled under the weight of endless conflict. Her mind wandered to the countless lives that had flickered and faded in the wake of devastation, and a deep, unyielding determination settled within her. In her heart, she carried not only the loss of a family and a past steeped in pain, but also the unbreakable will to fight for a future reborn. Her mission was clear, and yet the path ahead was as treacherous as the asteroid belts that rimmed this forsaken sector of space. Every dilapidated station, every ghost ship, bore silent witness to the frailty of existence, reminding her that the remnants of humanity were clinging to survival by a thread. Despite this, the spark of hope kindled by the whispered legend of the Odyssey glowed in her eyes, a promise of salvation amidst the ruins. Alara's thoughts were interrupted by the soft beeping of the shuttle's console. A faded holographic map materialized before her, its routes and coordinates marking the known relics of humanity's past conquests. These coordinates, though worn and nearly indecipherable, hinted at forgotten sanctuaries and dangerous territories where old technologies might yet stir. They served as a beacon in the overwhelming darkness, urging her to venture deeper into the unknown. As the shuttle continued its solitary journey, the panoramic view outside revealed the cosmic ballet of derelict orbits and drifting wrecks. It was a haunting sight, a universe frozen in time, yet yearning to reclaim the vitality it once knew. Each silent station, each dormant outpost, seemed to murmur in unison, survive, rebuild, and dare to dream again. Within the solitude of space, Captain Alara Miles found a renewed sense of purpose. Her ship, her crew, and her indomitable spirit were bound together by the shared hope of unearthing something extraordinary amid the ruins. In this broken galaxy, every fragment of hope was a precious treasure, and every step forward was an act of defiance against the encroaching darkness. Thus, with the stars as her silent witnesses and the ghosts of the past guiding her way, Alara charted a course not only through the remnants of a fallen civilization, but also toward the promise of a reborn future, one where the light of hope could once again outshine the desolation of lost dreams. Far from the fragile flicker of hope that pulsed within scattered outposts, a cold darkness reigned aboard a formidable command cruiser. Here, in a chamber bathed in the pale luminescence of holographic star maps and encrypted transmissions, Admiral Rykov then orchestrated his relentless campaign. Once hailed as a brilliant tactician of the unified galactic fleet, Ven had metamorphosed into a figure of dread, a man whose ambition knew no bounds and whose heart had grown as cold as the vacuum beyond his armored walls. In his private sanctum, the hum of advanced technology intermingled with the quiet, deliberate cadence of his thoughts. Ven's eyes, piercing and unyielding, scanned the flickering projections of warship movements and battle trajectories. Each coordinate and blinking alert fueled the fire of his determination. "The Odyssey is not a myth," he murmured, his voice resonating with an icy conviction. "It is the ultimate instrument of power, and with it, I will reclaim what was lost, and then I will reshape this broken galaxy in my image." Around him, officers and lieutenants listened intently, their expressions a mix of fear and awe. In brief, clipped exchanges over secure channels, Ven detailed his strategies, every word laced with the promise of ruthless efficiency. His plan was intricate, a network of covert operations designed to flush out the ancient warship and wrest it from the clutches of those who dared to dream of renewal. He recalled the glory of past victories with a detached pride, using them as both inspiration and a chilling reminder of what his adversaries would soon face. In one such strategy session, Ven addressed his most trusted aide. "Every piece of intelligence, every scrap of data that reaches our hands, must be scrutinized. There is no room for error when destiny is at stake. The survivors believe in legends. They believe in hope. And that, my friend, is their weakness." His voice, measured yet menacing, carried an unmistakable edge, a promise that he would dismantle any barrier to his vision of absolute control. Yet, beneath the layers of calculated ambition, a subtle bitterness simmered, a remnant of old wounds inflicted during the collapse of order. In the solitude of his chamber, away from the eyes of subordinates, Ven allowed himself a fleeting moment of reflection. He recalled the betrayals that had sculpted him into the man he had become. Each betrayal was a dark mirror reflecting a past where trust had been shattered like glass under the weight of war. This pain, however, had hardened him into a relentless force, one determined to exact revenge not just on his enemies, but on a universe that had once forsaken him. As the command cruiser sliced silently through the void, its sleek, menacing silhouette a stark contrast to the flickering remnants of old hopes. Admiral Vin prepared to move his pieces on the galactic chessboard. Every strategic maneuver, every whispered order, was a step towards a confrontation that would not only test the mettle of those who clung to hope, but would also redefine the future of a galaxy scarred by conflict. In the depths of space, where shadows merged with the cold light of distant stars, Vin's resolve crystallized. The warship, the Odyssey, was the key to a destiny he had long coveted. And as his fleet stirred into motion, ready to unleash a storm of calculated fury, the darkness around him deepened, echoing the promise of a new order built on the ruins of the old. In the dim, pulsating corridors of a repurposed freighter, hidden far from the prying sensors of hostile fleets, whispers of revolution began to swell. A secret meeting was underway, a clandestine gathering of souls who had endured the apocalypse and dared to dream of a future where hope might outlast despair. Flickering hollow displays cast ghostly light on the faces of survivors, their expressions etched with equal parts determination and lingering sorrow. At the center of the room, Captain Alara Miles stood as a pillar of resolve. Her presence was commanding yet compassionate, a beacon amid the fractured remnants of humanity. With measured calm, she addressed the assembly, her voice a soft but unwavering promise in the hush of anticipation. "We have been scattered, broken, and pushed to the edge of oblivion," she began, her eyes sweeping over the gathered figures. "But as long as the Odyssey lives in our hearts and in our legends, there is a chance to rebuild and reclaim what was stolen from us." The room stirred with murmurs of assent. Representatives from various factions, each bearing the scars of their own battles, shared in the unspoken understanding that the warship was more than a relic. It was a symbol of a forgotten era's strength and a potential catalyst for renewal. The conversations that followed were laced with urgency and fervor. A grizzled veteran, his voice rough as gravel, spoke of ancient coordinates and secret routes that might lead them to the dormant warship. A young engineer, eyes alight with rebellious fire, proposed innovative ways to reactivate its dormant systems, suggesting that technology, long neglected, could be coaxed back to life. Amid these impassioned exchanges, tension intertwined with hope. The dialogue was both strategic and intimate, revealing the personal stakes of each speaker. "If we can unite our skills and our courage," one delegate insisted, "we can turn the tide and bring back not just the Odyssey, but the spirit of what we once were." The urgency in her tone was matched only by the weight of collective memory, a shared lament for a past lost and a future uncertain. As the discussion deepened, the meeting transformed into a microcosm of rebellion. Plans were sketched on worn datapads, and secret signals were exchanged, all designed to converge on a single, perilous objective: the recovery of the Odyssey. Outside the freighter, the infinite darkness of space bore silent witness to this spark of defiance, where even the distant, cold stars seemed to lean in closer, as if to catch a whisper of revolution. Yet, underlying the fervor was a palpable tension, a reminder that for every spark of rebellion, the shadow of Admiral Rykov, Vin's looming presence grew ever darker. The urgency of their mission was clear. Not only did they seek the warship, but they also hoped to unite the remnants of a shattered society before tyranny could once again seize control. With every carefully chosen word, every plan laid bare in the flickering light, the rebels forged an unspoken pact. They would challenge the oppressive forces and risk everything for a future where hope, though fragile, could flourish in the vastness of space. In that hushed, determined moment aboard the freighter, the seeds of rebellion were sown. As the meeting drew to a close and each participant returned to their own corner of the galaxy, the resonating promise of a new beginning lingered, a promise that would ignite a series of events leading to the ultimate confrontation between tyranny and hope. Captain Alara Miles steered her shuttle into the uncharted fringes of the galaxy, where forgotten sectors and silent relics of the past beckoned with equal parts mystery and menace. The journey was a solitary dance through stardust and cosmic shadows, a pilgrimage fueled by the whispers of the Odyssey. Each jump between warped star lanes, each cautious glide past dormant satellites, deepened her resolve and reminded her of the monumental task ahead, uniting a scattered, fractured people to stand against the impending tyranny. As the shuttle emerged from a dense nebula, a sprawling space station appeared on the horizon, a relic of an era when hope was woven into the very fabric of human ambition. Here, in this crumbling bastion of memory, Alara would begin her quest to gather the lost. Docking with precision honed over countless battles, she stepped into the station's labyrinthine corridors where light flickered against the peeling walls and echoes of long-forgotten voices filled the air. In a quiet, makeshift assembly hall, remnants of former resistance gathered. Faces etched with hardship and determination turned expectantly toward the captain. A grizzled ex-soldier, his armor rusted by time and scars, rose from his seat. "Captain Miles," he intoned, his voice heavy with both caution and hope. "We've been waiting for a leader who dares to believe that the past can light our future." His words, simple yet profound, resonated deeply with everyone present. A young engineer, her fingers stained with oil and hope, stepped forward next. "We have secrets hidden in these stations," she whispered eagerly, displaying a battered datapad filled with coordinates and coded messages. Old communication lines and encrypted archives speak of safe havens and hidden caches of technology. With these, we might even awaken parts of the Odyssey that have lain dormant for centuries. Her eyes shimmered with the light of possibility, igniting a spark among the gathering. Alara listened intently, weighing every story and every plea. In hushed corners of the room, murmurs of shared loss and collective ambition swelled. Survivors spoke of battles fought in the void, of families lost in the explosive remnants of cosmic wars, and of dreams nearly extinguished by despair. Yet, beneath the layers of grief, there was an undeniable current of resilience, a silent vow that the embers of humanity could be fanned into a roaring blaze. "I have traveled far," Alara addressed the assembly, her tone both commanding and compassionate. "We stand at the crossroads of destiny. Each of you carries a piece of our collective past, a fragment of hope and defiance. Together, we can rebuild what has been lost. Not merely a warship, but a future where we reclaim our place among the stars." Her voice was resolute, a clarion call that united the diverse voices in that hall. Plans were sketched on holographic displays, and strategies were whispered over old communication frequencies. The station transformed into a buzzing nexus of clandestine coordination, where every discussion, every shared memory, wove a tapestry of renewed ambition. The alliance was not forged merely by necessity. It was kindled by a shared belief in a better tomorrow. In the interstices between strategic debates and moments of quiet solidarity, bonds were formed, binding former foes and allies alike in a pledge to rise above the ashes of a broken galaxy. As the meeting drew to a close, the sense of unity was palpable. The survivors dispersed into the dark corridors, carrying with them the weight of their memories and the light of newfound purpose. Captain Miles lingered by a viewport, watching the endless sea of stars, each a silent promise of hope. In that reflective solitude, she knew that the road ahead was fraught with peril and uncertainty. Yet, with every soul gathered, the faint pulse of a united resistance grew stronger, a beacon that might one day guide them to the Odyssey and, beyond it, to the dawn of a reimagined future. The mission to gather the lost was only just beginning, but in the quiet determination of that station, amidst the echoes of human resilience, the seeds of a galactic revival had been sown. The silence of space shattered like glass under the fury of clashing metal and searing laser fire. In the cold, endless expanse near a crumbling moon, battle erupted with the ferocity of a dying star. Captain Alara Miles, stationed at the helm of her commandeered freighter, felt her pulse synchronize with the rhythmic throb of exploding engines and cascading sparks from distant debris. The cosmos itself seemed to convulse in response, as if the universe had become an unwilling stage for a conflict that was both inevitable and apocalyptic. Across the void, Admiral Rykov Ven's fleet surged forward, a swarm of ruthless precision, each vessel a testament to his unyielding ambition. Their coordinated formations and calculated maneuvers cut through the darkness with deadly intent, like a predatory school of mechanical beasts. The clash was not merely a test of firepower. It was an orchestrated collision of wills, where every missile and every burst of plasma carried the weight of dreams and despairs. Within the command deck of her freighter, Alara's focus never wavered. Her fingers danced over control panels as she issued crisp commands, her voice resolute amid the cacophony of alarms and frantic chatter. Hold formation. Divert power to shields. Fire at the lead vessel, she commanded, her tone a blend of determination and urgency. Each order was delivered with the conviction of someone who understood that the survival of Hope hinged on these very moments. In the midst of the chaos, fragments of dialogue between crews reverberated through the intercom, a tapestry of human resolve amidst a symphony of destruction. Damage report, an officer shouted as sparks cascaded over the viewport. Reinforce the left flank. We're taking heavy fire. Another voice replied, punctuating the tension with a shared understanding that every second counted. Amid the frantic exchanges, the constant, unnerving hum of energy beams and the staccato burst of explosion punctuated the unfolding drama. As the battle raged, the silhouette of the Odyssey emerged from a veil of swirling cosmic dust, a ghostly reminder of the legend that had fueled this rebellion. Its ancient hull, scarred yet defiant, glinted ominously against the backdrop of a shattered moon. The warship's presence was both an omen and a rallying cry, a symbol of what had once been lost and what could yet be reclaimed. In that fleeting moment, as the ship loomed in the periphery, hope and terror intermingled like stardust in the void. Captain Miles, her gaze fixed on the spectral warship, knew that this skirmish was more than a tactical engagement. It was a turning point in a struggle that defined the very soul of the galaxy. Every collision of metal, every burst of light in the dark, was a testament to the unyielding spirit of those who dared defy tyranny. As her fleet maneuvered through the deadly ballet, the cosmic battle reached a fever pitch, a moment when destiny hung in the balance, poised on the edge of annihilation or rebirth. In the heart of the conflict, as orders and defiant shouts mingled with the roar of combat, the void itself seemed to watch, holding its breath in anticipation of the outcome. And amid this tempest of stars and strife, the stage was set for the decisive confrontation that would forever alter the course of a broken galaxy. The air, or rather, the void, seemed to still as fate converged upon a long-forgotten orbital platform, a relic hovering like a ghost against the endless tapestry of stars. Amid the silent corridors of this abandoned stronghold, destiny prepared to be written. Captain Alara Miles and Admiral Rykov Ven, embodiments of hope and tyranny respectively, found themselves face to face for the ultimate reckoning. The cavernous hangar, illuminated only by the flickering remnants of emergency lights, bore witness to the weight of their impending clash. Dust motes danced in the intermittent beams, and every echo in the vast space carried with it the unspoken memories of countless lives lost in the cosmic war. As Alara stepped forward, her presence radiated an unyielding resolve, a mixture of battle-hardened experience and the quiet conviction of a leader who believed that hope could outlast even the deepest despair. Opposite her, standing in the shadows with an air of cold, calculated menace, Admiral Ven surveyed the scene with eyes that held centuries of ambition and regret. His armor, marked by the scars of past conflicts, seemed almost to absorb the dim light, casting him as a dark silhouette against the fractured backdrop of the platform. The silence between them was heavy, charged with years of conflict and personal vendettas. Breaking the stillness, Ven's voice emerged, low and deliberate. You still cling to your fantasies, Captain. Hope is a luxury afforded only to those who refuse to see the truth of our broken universe. His tone, measured yet biting, carried a bitter edge, a reminder of betrayals and lost honor. Alara's gaze never wavered. Hope is the spark that ignites change, she replied softly, her words resolute despite the tension. Without it, we become nothing more than relics, enslaved to our past mistakes. I stand here not as a relic, but as a living testament that our future is still within reach. For a moment, the two leaders circled each other like wary predators. The distant hum of battle echoed faintly through the corridors, a constant reminder of the war raging beyond these walls. Around them, Loyalists of both factions held their breath, their whispered prayers and guarded glances intermingling with the metallic clink of discarded armor. Ven's eyes narrowed as he took a step closer, his presence menacing yet strangely dignified. You believe that by resurrecting a myth, you can erase the scars of history. But legends are born from sorrow and strife, not from idle dreams. The Odyssey is mine to command, to bend to my will and restore order to this chaos. Alara's response was a steady counterpoint, her voice rising with a quiet, inner fire. No one man can dictate the fate of an entire galaxy. Your order is nothing but tyranny in disguise. The Odyssey is not a tool of domination. It is a symbol of survival, of resilience. It belongs to all who dare to dream of a better future. Their words, sharp as laser fire and laden with the gravity of lost worlds, reverberated in the cold expanse. Each syllable carried the weight of countless battles fought, of sacrifices made in the name of freedom and defiance. The platform around them seemed to pulse with the intensity of their shared conviction, the very walls echoing back their conflicting ideologies. As the tension reached its peak, the quiet mechanical whir of distant engines signaled that the final assault was imminent. Reinforcements from both sides were drawing near, and the outcome of this confrontation would not merely decide the fate of a warship or a leader, it would chart the course for the entire galaxy. In that crucible of clashing ideals and simmering fury, Captain Miles and Admiral Ven prepared for their final duel. It was a battle that transcended physical combat, a war waged on the battleground of beliefs and dreams. With every measured step and every poignant word, they defined not just their own destinies, but that of all who lingered in the fragile balance between hope and despair. And so, in the quiet before the storm, under the cold gaze of the unyielding cosmos, the final confrontation began, a clash that promised to echo through the annals of history as the moment when the fate of a broken galaxy hung in the balance. In the aftermath of the cataclysmic confrontation, silence reclaimed its dominion over the once tumultuous expanse. The battered orbital platform, now a solemn monument to sacrifice and resolve, bore witness to a fragile, yet undeniable, rebirth. Slowly, as if emerging from the depths of a long, desolate slumber, the ancient warship the Odyssey stirred, its engines igniting with a soft, pulsing glow that pierced the heavy gloom of space. It was a beacon reborn from the embers of despair, its renewed light a promise that even amidst ruin, hope could still flourish. Captain Alara Miles, her uniform marked by the trials of battle and her eyes reflecting both sorrow and triumph, stood on the platform's edge. Below her, survivors from countless factions gathered in quiet reverence, their faces illuminated by the gentle radiance of the Odyssey. Their collective gaze was fixed on the warship, not as a relic of a lost past, but as a harbinger of a future yet unwritten. In that hallowed moment, the scars of war softened, replaced by the delicate bloom of unity. Across the void, Admiral Rykov Ven's forces lay in disarray, their once formidable order now fractured by the resolute defiance of those who believed in something greater than tyranny. The ideological battle between hope and oppression had reached its crescendo, and now, in the calm after the storm, the true cost of that clash was laid bare. The echoes of conflict, once a cacophony of destruction, had subsided into a reflective silence, where every loss and every sacrifice was etched into the fabric of the cosmos. Within the command center of the Odyssey, the warship's systems hummed back to life as technicians and engineers worked feverishly to restore its capabilities. Soft, determined conversations replaced the harsh commands of earlier battles, as voices once divided by despair now united in the shared vision of rebuilding. "We have a long road ahead," Alara remarked, her tone tender yet resolute. "But together, we can turn this battered vessel into the heart of a new beginning, a sanctuary where hope is our guiding star." As the survivors embraced this nascent unity, the platform transformed into a crucible of renewal. Tattered banners and salvaged symbols of past glories were raised once more, not as relics of a bygone era, but as emblems of resilience and rebirth. The gentle murmur of reconciled voices carried through the corridors, mingling with the soft pulsations of the Odyssey's reawakened engines, a rhythmic lullaby heralding the dawn of a revitalized galaxy. In that serene interlude, as starlight bathed the survivors in a celestial glow, a profound truth emerged. Even in the deepest void, the smallest spark of hope could ignite a revolution of change. The cosmos, vast and indifferent, had witnessed the resurgence of human spirit, a force capable of transcending the darkest of times and kindling new dreams among the scattered embers of civilization. With the first tentative steps toward restoration, Captain Alara Miles and her united allies vowed to forge a future defined not by the shadows of oppression, but by the luminous promise of possibility. As the Odyssey loomed large against the tapestry of stars, a silent sentinel of rebirth, the legacy of sacrifice and defiance endured, echoing across galaxies as a timeless testament to the resilience of hope. The battle was over, the scars remained, and the warship shone once more, heralding a dawn that promised renewal, unity, and the unyielding spirit of those who dared to dream.